In this video, we are going to focus on division of polynomials. You will find this on page 93 in the Namibia Ordinary Level Mathematics textbook, y equals mx plus c to success. Division of polynomials. There are two cases for dividing polynomials. Either the division is really just a simplification and cancelling, or else you need to do long division of polynomials. We will start with the easy one, the simplifying and cancelling. And that will be division of a polynomial by a monomial expression, meaning there's just one term in the denominator. So to divide any expression by a monomial divisor, that means one term, divide each term of the polynomial by the monomial. So if I ask you to simplify this, you will basically, there's two terms on top. You can only cancel out, so you can only cancel out if you have one term over one term. So how do I make it? One term. I take that and I make it a fraction. And I take that and I make it a fraction. And then I start. 3 can go in 1. The A, so it's only A, the B, and this one at the bottom. So 3 can go in 1, 3 can go in 2, the A's cancel. And if you look, there's 3 and there's 2. So 2 of the 3 will cancel, but the one that will be left will be on top. And it's actually just like on the line. Okay. You can do this one also, but I think it's best to wait after you did factorization. So you can take out a common factor. By taking out a common factor of 3ab, you are making it one term over one term. And then you can cancel out. And then you can say 3 cancel, a cancel, one of the b's cancel, and the bracket is left, which is exactly the same. Okay, I want you to stop the video and I want you to do try now 6. Let's just do number A and number E. You can continue the video as soon as you are finished. Let's start. Number A. So if I have 8a plus 12 over negative 4, okay, and I'm just going to do method 1 because we did not do factorization in this book yet. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to say 8a divide negative 4. You can put a pull on, but I'm going to, in this case now, keep the 12, so put always a positive there, a negative 4, and focus on this sign that will be in between. So if I'm going to simplify this, I'm just going to say 4 can go in 1, 4 can go in 2, 4 can go in 1, 4 can go in 3. And if I simplify this, I'm just going to say, in this case, do you see there's a positive and a negative, so it's going to be negative and only a 2a. And a positive and a negative, so it's also going to be negative and just 3. And that is going to be your final answer. If I look at number E, so that is going to be 24a squared b squared minus ab squared plus 48 a3 b4, and that's going to be over negative 12 a squared b squared. Okay, again I'm going to break it up, and I think I'm going to do it here. So in this case, I'm just going to say, keep it in the blue, 24 a squared b squared divide negative 12 a squared b squared. I'll put a positive and keep the signs here in the terms. And then focus just on this sign, the one it will become. So again, just to write not nothing. And again, it's a positive, and it's divide negative 12 a squared b squared. And then I start with the simplifying. So it goes in 2 times. Okay, there's nothing. This is going 1 and it's going 4. So this is going to be, okay, I can already, once that's cancelled, can you see, cancel totally out. There's only part, that one cancelled totally out. And this one, okay, so we will focus there. So this one, just check the sign. So if you check the sign, it's just going to be -2, because a positive divided by a negative is negative, and the rest all cancel except the 2. Be careful, a negative and a negative, so it's going to be a positive. Okay, there. So there's one, if there's nothing on top, because look, the big exponent of the a is at the bottom, so you write the a at the bottom, and you say 2 minus 1 is just 1, and if there's nothing there, it's just 1, and don't forget, there's still a 12. Make it a little bit longer. And then the last one, positive divided by a negative is negative, and it's 4, and it's a, and it's b2, and that will be your final. Because look, the a's is the big amount, the index is on top, the b's, the big amount, is on top, and that's why it's ending up actually on top. And this will be your final answer. Okay, let's move on to the next division. Division of a polynomial by a binomial expression, that means 2 terms or even 3 terms. If you are dividing by something more complicated than just a simple 1-term monomial, then you will need to use a different method for simplification. That method is division by a binomial expression or long division or of a polynomial. It works just like long division of numbers that you did back in primary school, except that now you are dividing using variables. So if you cannot go back to long division primary school, it will help you a little bit. But let's start, and I break it up into steps to make it a little bit easier. Divide this by this. Okay, so if I write here, and let's use this code, this is the divisor, this is the dividend, okay, and this is the quotient, is the answer. So divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor. So actually, just take, I'm going to encircle it. Okay, I think rather highlight it, it will be better. Take this one and divide it by this one. So if you divide, then still only x will be there on top. And then after you do division, you're going to go for multiplication. So now, don't forget, if you do multiplication, that you are going to take this, can I show you here, and you multiply and you multiply. So this is going to be x squared, this is going to be, okay, so this is going to be x squared, and this is x, and I write it there. Do you see? And then I'm going to simplify it. As soon as I simplify it, and I'm just going to clean here, then don't forget, I'm doing subtraction. And if I do subtraction, I change signs. Now, what I usually like to do, as soon as I change signs, I make a circle around it to remember that I already changed it. Because otherwise, some kids do it like this. If it's a negative, then they wonder, did I change it? And then they change it again to a negative. So put your negative signs there. Then just do addition. So this cancel, -9, -1, it's -10. And then you're going to say exactly that 3 steps again. So take this. I'm going to highlight it again for you. Take again, in this case, take this one and divide it again by this one. So -10x, divide x, and that's going to be -10. And then I'm going to multiply, and I do that. And then I'm going to simplify again, okay? Okay, I first did that, there I multiplied, sorry. There I just simplified, and there's the multiplication. And then I change the signs, positive, simplify, and everything cancel out, and it's a 0. Okay, and this will be your quotient. That will be your final answer. Okay. So this is just saying to you, this is the dividend, this is the divisor, this is the quotient, and there's no remainder. And how can you check to see if you're correct? just take the divisors and multiply it with the quotient, and then you must get the dividend as the answer. Okay, I want you to stop the video and I want you to try now 7, just do number A, and let's see one with a negative, and C. You can continue the video as soon as you are finished. Okay, let's start with number A. So, and I'm going to already write it in the correct position. So this is going to be 8 x squared plus 10x minus 12. And this is going to be x plus 2. So I'm going to divide, and if I divide always this one by this one, what am I going to get? And you can write it here. You can say 8x squared divide x. That's going to give me 8x. So 8x. And then I'm going to start with the, so it's first division, and then I'm going to start with the multiplication. So, and don't forget, usually learners forget, can I show you? You must multiply by that one and by that one. Okay, so don't forget that. So this is going to be 8x squared, and I multiply by that second term there, so it's going to be 16x. And I draw the line. And now I'm just going to change the signs. So this is going to become a negative, and this is also a negative. And then I'm going to add it up. So, and if I add it up, so this is going to be negative 6x. And then I just start all over again. So I say negative 6x, divide by x, and that will just be negative 6. So bring that one also down. So start multiplying. Remember, first one, second one. So it will be negative 6x, and this one will be negative 12. Draw a line, change the signs. Nothing, nothing. Okay, so actually the remainder will be what? 0. It's not necessary to write it. Okay, so the remainder will be 0, and that's your final answer. If you look at number 6, I will check the next one. I'm not going to check this one, I will check the next one. I think I'm going to check it quickly. It's not going to take so long. Let's just check it with green. So it's going to be x plus 2, 8x minus 6. So, and this is going to, if I multiply, this is going to be 8x squared, multiply by this one, negative 6x plus 16x. I multiply and I multiply. Let's just go into a minus 12. So this is going to give me, there's your like terms, 8x squared plus 10x minus 12. Oh, sorry, not 12. And can you see that this is exactly the same as this? It's not necessary to do that. Just in the beginning, to help you and to control, you can do it. But in the exams, leave this out. This was the question. Okay. We do the final one there. And that will be number C. Again, just write it for yourself nice and neatly. So this is going to be 3b squared minus 13b minus 10. And this is going to be b minus 5. So if I'm going to divide, I'm going to say 3b squared over b, and that is going to give me 3b. So 3b. And then I multiply, so it's going to be 3b squared. I multiply negative 15b. I change the signs after, so it's always, can I just give you, it's always divide or let me rather put it like this. It's always division, then multiplication, then subtraction. That is the 3 steps. Okay, so I subtract, so I change the signs. This cancel, and what is this going to be? This is going to be 2b. And then I divide again. There I am again. So it's 2b divide b, and that's 2. So it's plus 2. And if I'm going to do that one, I multiply, so it's going to be 2b minus 10 minus 10, and then I change the signs, and this will be the final answer. And again, I can test it. Just for this video, so I'm testing it. I'll test also one with a remainder. There's no remainder here. Okay, so this is just a check. So b minus 5 and 3b plus 2. So if I multiply, this is going to be 3b squared plus 2b minus 15b minus 10. So this is going to be 3b squared minus 13b minus 10. If you check, this is going to be exactly the same as this. Okay, let's look one that's having a remainder. Okay, let's move up a little bit. So in this case, it's exactly the same. It's always divide, multiply, subtract. So if I look at this one, I take this and I divide it by this and I get 10x squared. I multiply, I change the signs, I get this. I take this, I divide it by this, I get 10x. I multiply, okay. I subtract, I get this. I take this, I divide it by this, I get 1. I multiply, I get this. I change the signs and I get that -3. And what is that -3? That's the remainder. And how do I check it? I also first multiply these brackets out, but then at the end I subtract 3. So you're going to get -4 minus 3, and that's -7. And you see that this is exactly going to be that. Okay. I want you to stop the video, and I want you to do try now 8, and I'm just going to choose one here. I would have loved a positive one, so let's go for C. And then in this one we can choose a -1, and we can go, I'm going to give you F, because I want you to do something there with number F. Okay, so in this case, let's start with number C, number 1C. So if I'm looking at this, so again, I'm just doing my division, and this is going to give me now m squared plus 10m plus 18, and that's m plus 5. Okay, and then I'm going to divide, always divide, multiply, subtract. Okay, so if I divide, I just get m, and then I multiply and I get m squared plus 5m, and then I change the signs, and then I'm going to get, in this case, just 5m. Then I say plus 5. Okay, and then as soon as I do that, I'm going to multiply again. I can bring this one down. So if I multiply again, I get 5m plus 25. And I change the signs. And then I say 18 minus 25, that's going to give me -7. And that's also the remainder. And if I want to check, I want to just show you the check. I'm going to do m plus 5, and it's again m plus 5, and just subtract that. So if I multiply, I'm going to get m squared plus 5m plus 5m plus 25, and then subtract the 7. So it's going to be m squared plus 10m, and then 25 minus 7 will give me 18. And that will be my final. Okay. Remember, you don't have to do this. It was just for checking. So in the next example, I will just do the question. Let's make space again. Okay, we do look at, now when you look at F, always very important what I wrote here, arrange the indices of the polynomials in descending order. So look how I write it. I want to show you that. Okay, so if you look, this is not, there's 3, there's 2. So start there by saying, okay, there is 3, then comes the 2, then comes the 1, and then comes the 4. And there is the x minus 1. And then I'm going to start and I'm going to divide it. So this part divide by this. So did you see? I also swapped this too. So if I do that, this is going to be x squared. Then I multiply, I get x3. I multiply, I get negative x squared. Okay, I change the signs. Okay, and then I'm going to say negative 5 plus 1, so it's going to be negative 4 x squared. Okay, so then I'm going to say, okay, so so this is left, I can bring down that 8x. Then I do division again, and I'm going to show you here. Do it like this, on the side, with a pencil, doesn't even matter. If you struggle to see that. So this is going to be negative 4x. And that is what I'm going to write there. Negative 4x. And then I'm going to multiply. And then I'm going to get negative 4x squared. And I multiply and I get positive 4x. And then I'm going to put a positive and I'm going to put a negative. And then I'm going to cancel, and I'm going to get 4x, and then 4x divide x, that's easy. That's just going to be plus 4. And then I multiply, and you can bring it always down, otherwise you can bring it afterwards down. So I'm going to get 4x and negative 4. Okay. And in this case, don't think, oh, it cancel out. No, you have to change the signs first. So this becomes a negative, this becomes a positive, and then it's not cancelling out, it's giving you 8. So it's having a remainder of 8. Okay. Okay, let's go on. In this case, we are going to look at the missing terms. What does it mean? If you go in descending order, there's a 3, there's a 1, so x to the power of 2 is missing. Okay, so there can be a missing term. For example, there might be an x3 but not an x2. Exactly what's happening here. In that case, either leave gaps or include the missing terms with a coefficient of 0. So I think the best will be write plus 0 x squared. That's going to help you. Okay, so let's just start there. I'm first going to show you the example and then you can try one. So in this case, just remember there's a missing one, so there's a 3 and a 1, so the 2 is missing, so put 0. Then do exactly the same. Take this, divide this, you get x2, and you multiply and you multiply. And you change the signs and you get this. Then take this, divide this, and you're going to get 2x. Multiply, multiply. you get this. And then you do then you do exactly the same. You're going to change the signs, you get this. And then you say this, divide this, you get 3, you multiply, and the remainder will be 0. So, very important, if the remainder is 0, it means that the divisor is a factor of the dividend. So this is a factor of that question, or dividend. Okay, you can stop the video, and then I want you to do, now can I give you a little bit more challenging one? No, just do number C. Just do number C. Okay, so if I look at this one, let's start with number C. So if I look at this one here, okay, so let's just write it in the long division format. So do you see there's not an x to the power 2? So I'm going to write 2 x to the power 4 plus 5 x to the power 3 plus 0 x to the power 2 minus 5x minus 2. And then it's x minus 1. And if I start, I take this, divide this. So I'm going to get 2x to the power of 3. And if I multiply, I get 2x to the power of 4. So, and if I multiply this one, I'm going to get negative 2x to the power of 3. Then I change the signs. So this becomes a negative, this becomes a positive. This cancel, and this is going to be 7x to the power of 3. And then I'm going to divide. So if I divide, I get positive 7x squared. Okay, you can bring that one down. So bring that 0x squared now down. So if I multiply, I get 7x to the power of 3 minus, okay, and in this case, it's going to be 7x squared. Draw the line, subtract. That means change the sign. Change the sign. And if I do that, this is cancelling, and this is just going to be 7x squared. And then I divide, and I get 7x. That's negative 5x. And then I multiply. And I multiply. And I change signs. And then I'm getting, this is cancelling, and this is 2x. And then I'm going to divide, and I'm just going to get plus 2. Okay, there's the minus 2. And then I multiply, that's 2x. And I multiply, that's negative 2. And then I change the signs. And I get nothing, nothing. And the remainder will be 0. And that's how I do that. Okay, in the next video, I'm going to show you a short way of doing long division. Okay, but I think I'll leave it for the next video.